Hey, Gabe. This question is regarding switch of trainers. You're working with Jesse Reid now, and so you moved on for a guy you were with, I think, 10 years. Can you talk about the difficulty and maybe the hesitance in parting ways with someone you've worked with so long? A lot of us watched that fight on Saturday night. We saw Chris Algieri, a trainer that he's worked with for such a long time, and then people take to Twitter and say, well, he should dump that trainer. But I think it's not so easy, especially when you have loyalty built up with someone. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, Billy Briscoe, he was my trainer for about 10 years, Billy. And, but it just kind of got to the point where I just felt that, it wasn't nothing personal, it was just business. And I felt that in order for me to take it to that next level, I had to make a move. And, Jesse Reid is one of the best trainers in the world, He's trained 25 world champions. And it's funny how it just worked out. I just went to the gym, and I asked Reid to wrap my hands up one time, and he wrapped me up. And then I asked him if he could work with me in the corner when I was getting ready for a sparring session. And he just started giving me advice, and I started listening to his advice, and it was actually working. And, we just clicked from there. And I just feel that, I'm a much better fighter right now, and I'm learning a lot of new things.
And can you speak about, I would imagine, I can only imagine, that maybe it was hard in having that discussion with Billy saying, I'm going to try something else. Is it difficult emotionally having to do that?
It was difficult, but the thing is that me and Billy were like family, and when I brought it to Billy's attention, what he told me is he felt that, if that's what I feel that I need to do to progress, he was all in, and he said it was fine. So we parted ways on a good note. I spoke with him not so long ago, probably about last week. So, everything's all good, man. He just wants me to be better, and I just feel like I'm having a great camp right now.
Excellent. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Dan Rafael with ESPN.
Hey, Gabe. Good to talk to you today. And listening to your response to Mike about the training situation, just clarify for me, where you usually train in Philadelphia for your fights, if I'm not mistaken. Where are you training with Jesse?
I train Jesse. I moved to Los Angeles, so Jesse's gym is actually about a 10-minute ride up the block in Burbank. So I just go up. I'm in the gym usually around 11 in the morning, and that's when we do our sparring and we do our workouts.
Okay, so are you living in L.A. permanently now from Philly, or is this just for the purposes of your training camp?
No, I'm back and forth from Los Angeles to Philly. I have a place in Philly and I have a place in Los Angeles, so I'm just, when it's training camp, my last training camp when I fought Vero, I did in Los Angeles, and I'm doing my training camp now in Los Angeles.
Gotcha, okay. Now, one of the things I want to ask you with regard to the fight, I think most people look at the matchup as, number one, like Robert Diaz was saying, should be an exciting fight. You guys both, bring it every time. But I think a lot of people look at it like that they're looking at Lemieux as a guy that can maybe go into some of the bigger fights in the middleweight division. We've seen you in some other fights where you've always put on a good show, but you've come up short in some of these fights. And I know you won the BKB fight, not too long ago, but on your official boxing record, you haven't won in 4 fights. And my question for you is, do you understand, and what is your perspective on the fact that they look at Lemieux as the guy that has to get past the gatekeeper, Gabriel Rosado, that's how they label you, to move on to the bigger and better things. But I know you still have aspirations yourself, so how important is it to, good fights all the time, but you got to win at some point, don't you? Can you talk about that?
I feel, yeah. Okay, I feel that I've had controversial decisions, and I think the fans spoke up loudly when I fought Jamion Love, and they all felt that was a fight that I won. And then with Peter Quillen, it was a fight where I honestly felt I was on the verge of getting a knockout. I felt like I had the momentum on my side. I had Quillen on his heels. And it's a fight that the fans were seeing that I was the commentators all had me up on that fight when the fight got stopped, and it got stopped in the championship rounds. So I think, they're losses, but they're fights that people say, he was winning on the commentator scorecard. It was a fight that people felt that, it's not like taking a loss where I just flat out lost. When I fought Charlo, I flat out lost to Charlo, you know, and it was a fight that I think a lot of that had to do with me thinking I could make 54 again, and I killed myself to make the weight. But when we're talking middleweight, you know, the only guy that really beat me legit at the middleweight division was Triple G. But when you look at the Love fight and you look at the Peter Quillen fight, those are fights that the fans felt I was winning, and so did I. So, you know, the fans, they know better, and you can't fool the fans. And I think that's why I'm getting this fight. And honestly, I really don't feel, you know, that Lemieux's the favorite in this fight. You know, the fans, the media might think that, but, you know, I think the fans look at this fight and, you know, Lemieux has something to prove because this is his first fight in America. You know, not so many people know Lemieux. People know what I bring to the table, and I think with me having Jesse Reid in my corner now and having a new team and doing training camp in Los Angeles, I think you're going to see a much better fighter in me. And I just can't wait to prove that on the 6th.
Gabe, I think it's not so much that it's the media that views David Lemieux as the favorite. I think most people think that you will have just as good a chance to win the fight as David does. I think it's really the promoters and the network that look for the next, you know, star potential, exciting guy that can maybe challenge a Quillen, a Golovkin, or any other guys with titles. And so they make him sort of the A side of the fight. Are you insulted by that, or do you just feel like, you know what, I have losses that are better than what they look like on paper, and so let me just go in there and take care of this kid?
Yeah, you know, I'm really not insulted by it because, you know, like I said, at the end of the day, what matters to me most is what the fans think, and the fans keep me relevant, and they want to keep seeing me fight. And you know, I just use it as motivation. You know, I think Lemieux, you know, he's the one with the title, he's the one with the strap. So, you know, he should be the A side. You know, I think I have the bigger name, and I fought the bigger opponents and things like that. But you know, we are fighting for a title, and traditionally, you know, the guy with the belt is the one who's the A side. So, you know,
you guys are fighting for one of the what belt is this? One of the regional titles, I guess.
NABF middleweight title.
NABF, yeah.
Very good. Okay, Gabe, thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to this one. Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Once again, if you would like to ask a question or have a comment, please press *1 on your telephone keypad. This will place you in the question queue. Our next question comes from Lem Satterfield with theringtv.com.
Hey, guys, Robert and Gabe, how you guys doing?
Hello, Lem.
Hey, what's up?
Robert, just piggybacking a little bit off of what Dan said, from a promoter's standpoint, you know, it's just kind of a proverbial crossroads fight, you know, even for David Lemieux because, you know, he got stopped earlier in his career. From a promoter standpoint, from a matchmaker standpoint, what does this represent for both fighters?
Well, I don't think, I mean, I know a lot of times we're into that culture. It's a crossroad fight. But look, when you have fighters like David Lemieux and you have fighters like Gabriel Rosado fighting, bringing it together, putting these guys in, I think after the fight, the fans are going to be like, wow, what a fight. And that's what keeps boxing alive. We're too quick to write off a guy because, oh, he lost a fight. So what? As long as it's a great fight, they don't lose. The fans win. Boxing wins. So let's enjoy it while it's still there. Hey, let's see. This is going to answer a lot of questions. Gabe is focused. He's ready. He's hungry. He knows what this represents. He's told you, new trainer, new weight division. I expect fireworks, and I'm very excited about this fight.
Okay, Gabe, you know, I've talked to you extensively about this particular fight at one point, but you talked about, you know, the series of frustrating losses for whatever reason. When you step out of the ring and you're frustrated, what turns your frustration into a desire to turn it, to go back to the ring? How much of that is from what you hear from your fans that, kind of like what Robert said, even though on paper you lost, it's the style, it's the commitment, maybe how do they relate to you? Is that what brings you back? Is that what keeps you going?
Yeah, it definitely helps. You know, when I went through some tough losses in my career, you know, the fans definitely speak up, and they definitely show me love on social media, and it's mostly love than it is negativity. You know, And they definitely motivate me, man. And the fans definitely keep me relevant, you know, because they speak up and, you know, they speak their mind. So I definitely appreciate that. And it definitely makes me want to go to the gym and work harder. And, you know, this fight right here is a fight where I want to win, and I definitely want to win it for the fans, because it's kind of like, you know, they're just waiting for me to get my break already, you know, and they're just waiting for me to just get that win. And, you know, I think right now I'm training to my full potential, you know, and I'm training really hard. And regardless of the bad decisions or whatever the case may be, I think a lot of it had to do with me needing to be a lot more disciplined and refocus. And I think that's what I'm doing now.
I guess the last thing I said, touching on that again, because it's kind of unique. A lot of fighters, after they win a fight, for example, Tim Bradley, when he beat Manny Pacquiao, you know, I've heard talk to Devin Alexander when he, you know, won some of his fights. They don't want to see what's on, you know, the social media, and that's when they won. What is it? You know, talk about what you hear, like on a personal level, maybe some of the messages that you've heard from fans, you know, whoever, that, you know, that make you believe that you still have it and that you should go back.
You know, a lot of people just say that I'm an inspiration to them, things like that. I get that a lot, and I think it's because they, you know, a lot of people know my background. You know, I never had a big manager. I never started off with a big promoter, you know, and I pretty much worked my whole career having a graveyard shift or, you know, just doing odd jobs and training for fights. And, you know, so I'm kind of like the blue-collar guy. So I think the fans kind of relate to me, you know, and they're pulling for me because it's like, you know, they can relate to me on that level, you know. And, you know, I stay humble. You know, I don't get big-headed or anything like that, man. I stay humble. I always remember where I come from. And I think that's why the fans relate to me.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Gabe. Good luck in your fight.
Thanks.